And it's a wrap, guys. Day number 30 of my 30-day Go Live challenge of dropping from head into my heart. Wow, I've done this for 30 days. You know, it has been a journey for me, and there are some key things that I've learned about myself that I would like to share. First of all, I found it very easy to start this challenge. When my business coach suggested it, I said yes immediately, which tells me that I've changed my old patterns, not my current pattern, my old patterns of taking a long time and or waiting for the right moment to start saying yes. So I jumped at it and I said yes. And I said yes without knowing exactly how it was going to work. So that's one of the key things that I've learned, right? You don't need to know the how, you need to just trust the process, right? So I trusted that every day I would have something to share from my heart. I trusted in not preparing and planning, right? And that was scary for me. So that is one of the things I feel that I have switched throughout these 30 days. It's that unnecessary belief that I need to plan everything to a T. I did zero planning for this. And every day I showed up and I spoke. I just spoke from my heart and I allowed whatever needed to come out, right? The planning that I would have done is to make sure I had time in every single day. And that was not something I did 30 days in advance. And that's something I usually would, right? I would plan it in my calendar. What I actually did is I just put a reminder at 10 o'clock every day, you have a live to do. But I didn't do the live at 10. Right? It was just to bring it to my awareness. And I put it in a reminder. So therefore, when I look at my schedule for that day, I know that sometime during this day, I have this reminder. And there was one day that I forgot, but I was guided to remember while I was in the middle of watching a TV show, I believe. Right? And that was a weekend. And for weekends, I tend to not work as much or at all. So I didn't come on my computer that day. So it wasn't top of mind. But I didn't forget because I made a commitment. So that's something that was really great, where I get to rely on myself and it's not something heavy, right? The excessive planning becomes heavy without realizing it. And that I realized that throughout this process. Another thing that I realized is sometimes when you think people need to hear a certain something, that's not true. That's through your head because you're putting it through the lens of, well, I hope what I say is appreciated. I hope what I say is accepted. And this journey has taught me that some of the things that I have shared and said in the moment, I would never say it as coming through the human being, through the human mind. Right? I would never allow myself to open and share those things. But my heart wanted it to be out there because there is somebody, maybe you didn't see it as yet, but the day will come when they need to hear exactly what I said in that video. They need to connect through me and only me. And I felt that call to serve in that manner. So sometimes we don't understand why we say something and we do some things. And if immediately you don't see a tangible result that you linked this to, you think that it wasn't worth it. But I know in my heart that it was, and it served a purpose, right? Because every single thing that we do ultimately is serving us a purpose, right? It doesn't always seem like that, everything, but life is happening for us. It's not happening to us, it's happening for us. It's one shift in a word, but it makes the biggest difference in your entire life. Something else I experienced is it doesn't matter what people think about me. I've always been that type of person where I don't really care because I have this thing where you don't pay my bills, right? So unless you want an opinion, the only way you can have an opinion, I mean, you can have an opinion, but the only way I'm going to actually pay attention to it is if you contribute to my life and my bills. And there are very few people who does that. So I tend to not care what people think, but there is a difference on being in the online space, right? Because you now open yourself up to so much more criticism. You open up yourself to people who you would have never met previously, and People who are angry, I've learned that a lot of people are angry and they use the internet to just lash out, right? They use the internet to judge and belittle. But I've learned now, you can go right ahead and do that. But the only person you're judging and belittling is actually yourself. And the only way I can make it's about me is if I choose to make it about me. And more than likely what you're saying has nothing to do with me. So I can look at it and say, is that true? And if it's not, let it go. And if it is, then I can thank you and say, you know what? You put that comment for me to just pay attention to something in my energy that needs working. So I've gotten a lot braver in the screen. And I love myself for that. Oh my God, I feel so proud of myself. I feel accomplished, right? What else? I guess I could be a little surprised that for 30 days I had something to share. And it's kind of surreal, right? But it's nice. It's really, really nice. And every day I shared something different. Every day I spoke differently. So that was just really nice on its own. I love the fact that I started this and I didn't give up and I finished it, or I'm finishing it today. I love, love, love that I have changed my relationship with time. Where time is my friend. It works with me. It works alongside me, I love that people have reached out to me and said that they love my series. And, it made me realize that even though sometimes I didn't get a like or comment on my video, it does not mean that people aren't watching, right? Likes and comments are great, yeah, of course, right? I feel nice with that, but it does not mean that it isn't directly proportional to how well something is, right? Again, if you get called from your heart to deliver something, then you have to trust that calling is the service, right? You don't need people to acknowledge it in the way that you think. It's similar to the story I shared with the birthday card, right? Where it's about the process of you enjoying creating a birthday card or buying it or whatever. But when you attach a certain result to that expectation, then it dims your joy if that doesn't materialize. So a lot of people in social media, they base everything on how much likes and views they get. But what if you can just know and trust the energy within that this is what is meant to be? This is what your calling was. Even if it seems silly, like a 30-day Go Live challenge, it ultimately has a purpose to get you closer to your goal, to the life that you actually have been called to live and create. This has been an amazing journey for me. I have done 30-day Go Live challenges before, but it's always been about business, it's been about gratitude. And this one it allowed me to go deeper and to connect to myself on a different level. And this happened off screen, actually. For the few minutes I'm here, yes, I was present and it flowed. But off screen and throughout the days, I felt more connected to God, source, universe, whoever your creator is, right? I felt connected to mine, if you believe it's different creators. And that feeling is faith. And there is no words to describe faith, right? Now, there are always two things you're feeling. It's either fear or faith. And if you can choose to feel faith every single time, why would you ever choose fear? And this made me, I think it's concreted, cemented it in my mind, where pay attention, because the moment you step into fear, you can easily step into faith and your heart will guide you. You just have to open it a little bit and listen. So yeah, that is my biggest thing. Your heart is always here to guide you. And even if it seemingly guides you to do silly little things sometimes, or to go to somewhere you never think you would go, or to say yes to something else, It's ultimately happening for you to bring you closer to that goal, that desire that you're working on, right? And one of the things I realized as well is one, I've always said it, but I'm just going to say it out here, right? Where my greatest desire is to be the best version of myself that I can. That means I'm not going to stop in my business. I want to go really far. That means I'm going to do the different things. I have a book that I'm writing. I'm going to finish it. I have other projects that I want to work on. We still want to build our dream home. I love this house, but I have a dream home that I want to build. And nothing can stop me except me. But when you allow your heart to lead you there, and when you trust that everything has an ultimate purpose, it means, for instance, I could fully enjoy living in this beautiful home, knowing the day will come when I get to say goodbye, because the next stage has come in my life. It's not about just getting one and saying, okay, I'm done. I don't want to work again. I'm tired. And that does not mean that I am not going towards true financial freedom where I do not have to work another day in my life. But when I reach to that point, I know that I'm going to continue working because I get to work, because it's for pure joy. It changes, right? It's no longer about money, but it's just about contribution. And that is my goal, right? To become the best version of myself and to experience all of the things that I can in that version, which is true financial freedom as well, which is being very healthy, which is being an amazing mother, a fantastic wife, all of it, right? Who says that we can't have all of it? Who says that? And why, even if people say that, why do you believe it? I'm here to tell you, if you believe you can have everything, then you will. And I believe that I can have everything. I believe that I deserve it. And even if I don't have everything I want today, I don't think I would ever have everything I want, because as human beings, and I know that sounds contradictory, right? But hear me out. As human beings, we always want more. So I believe I'm going to experience all of the things throughout my whole life that I want. When I was 10 years old, I wanted different things than what I wanted now. When I started my business 7 years ago, I wanted different things than I want now of the same exact business. So as you want more. So I know that with the right mindset, with an open heart, which is what these last 30 days was about, I will be guided each step to get everything that I want in that moment, and then the next one and the bigger thing that I want in the next moment. But I am going to experience all of it. And it's not a race, it's not a competition. It's just being in alignment with my soul, my higher self. It's just practicing listening to those guiding cues, opposed to listening to the mental cues or listening to someone external, right? Because each and every one of us, we have our own energy. We have all our answers. We have our own roadmap. We just need to follow it. So today was a bit longer, but I felt like I just wanted to share a little bit more. And I am glad that the 30 days is over, because it's not about, sometimes you overdo things, like it's going so well, so I'm just going to continue it, right? Because it makes me feel so good. Sometimes I think you have to set that limit and enjoy that fully, which I did. There were 3 days that I didn't want to show up. One, I came at the exact same time. I think I shared that with you guys, but there were 2 others. And what I did is I just took a step back and I said, my commitment is not a certain time to do this. It's within 24 hours. So let's assess how I'm feeling as to why I don't want to do it, what's coming up in my energy. I worked with it, and then once that, it was like magic. It disappeared, and then I was able to come on 10 minutes later, maybe an hour later, and I was able to carry on as normal. So sometimes when you commit to things, especially on a daily basis, like building a habit, exercising, eating healthy, you're going to have days when you don't want to do it. But it's not about beating yourself up. It's not about saying, what are you, stupid? No, it's not. It's about acknowledging how you feel and say, hold on, I get that you're feeling a little bit down. I get that you don't want to do this today. But why? Why? Right? When you become your best friend, when your heart becomes your best friend, and you start to have these conversations, as crazy as that might sound to someone, that is the real goal, having conversations with yourself, raw, authentic, honest conversations with yourself. Right? And when you feel down, acknowledge it, figure out the why, and then change it, turn it around, right? Because whatever you're feeling to keep you down is just a low energy, it's just a fear-based energy. And you can step into faith, you can step into that highest energy, not even hope, but certainty. Certainty that you are fully supported and you are fully provided for, even if in that moment you cannot see the how, because the how is the least important, right? The why is the most important thing. There was something I wanted to say and it slipped me. I guess that's not for you to hear today. So that is it for me for my 30-day Go Live Challenge. Thank you to every single person who joined in, even if it was for a second or a minute. I know that you were meant to be my energy for that length of time. Thank you to my business coach who suggested this. And thank you to myself for saying yes and playing full out, because I know I have, and I will continue to be deeply rewarded for every single thing I do, because everything I do has an ultimate purpose to get me to my highest goal and to live the best life I possibly can. So that is it for me. I will see you guys soon with some business work. Take care and enjoy.